There is a man. You have never met him, but you know him. He lives behind a locked door at the end of a corridor that no one else uses, in a house that is large enough to suggest wealth and cold enough to confirm that wealth has not helped him. He is not poor. That is the first thing to understand. He is not poor. The vault exists. The gold is real. The numbers, and he knows the numbers exactly to the last coin, rehearsed each night like a prayer. The numbers are substantial, and yet every evening he descends, unlocks the door, sits with what is his, and counts, not from pleasure, not from satisfaction, from terror, because somewhere beneath the counting is a fear that the counting is the only thing standing between him and loss, that if he stops, if he looks away for even a moment, something will shift, something will be taken, something will be revealed to have never been his at all. The gold is in the vault, and the miser is in the gold, locked inside it as surely as it is locked inside the room. This is the first thing to understand about the miser. He does not own his gold. His gold owns him. G.K. Chesterton, the English writer, observed this with characteristic precision. Real ownership, he said, is the mental freedom to spend. The miser cannot spend. Therefore, the miser owns nothing. The gold sits in the vault, and the miser sits beside it, and neither of them is free. There is a layer beneath this that Neville would have recognized immediately. The miser's problem is not the gold. The miser's problem is his consciousness, because longing, Neville was exact about this, longing is the confession of absence. Every night, the miser descends to count. He is not confirming that he has. He is confessing that he does not feel that he has. The counting is the symptom. The consciousness of lack is the disease. A man with a vault full of gold, whose inner life is organized entirely around the fear of losing it, is not a wealthy man. He is a beggar, wearing the clothes of a rich man, and terrified that someone will notice. His consciousness is the state of not enough, regardless of what the vault contains. And consciousness, Neville taught, is the only reality. The vault confirms nothing. The inner state is everything. Chesterton gave us the target in a single line. A man can only enjoy a thing when he is not thinking about whether it is his or not. Read that again in your mind. Not thinking about whether it is his or not. That is not indifference. That is not carelessness. That is the precise quality of consciousness that belongs to someone for whom ownership is simply not in question. Not because they have checked and confirmed, because the question does not arise. The miser is defined by a question that never stops arising. Is it mine? Is it still mine? Will it remain mine? The person you're inhabiting tonight is the one for whom that question has gone permanently quiet. Not more gold, not better circumstances. A different consciousness entirely. The miser cannot enjoy what he has because he cannot stop thinking about whether he has it. His opposite does not think about it at all, not because they are suppressing the thought, because the thought has nothing to attach to, because ownership in the only place that matters, in consciousness, is simply settled. That is where we are going tonight, not toward the vault, toward the consciousness that makes the vault irrelevant. And now, as the body begins to let go, as the muscles release and the breath slows and the day falls away, notice what is already happening. The counting is stopping, not because you are making it stop, because you are moving toward a place where counting simply does not occur to anyone. The vault door closes, not because the gold is secure, because the question of security no longer arises. The miser's grip is releasing finger by finger, breath by breath. Let it begin. Make yourself comfortable. Let your body settle exactly where it is. No need to adjust anything too much. Just allow yourself to arrive here. Take a slow breath in and let it fall out naturally. Again, slow breath in and release. There is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to secure, nothing you need to count or confirm. Just this moment and your awareness inside it. Feel the surface beneath you, supporting your weight without effort. You are held completely, and as your breathing continues, notice how the body begins to soften on its own. You are not making that happen. It's already happening. Now let the body start to slow down. You do not need to relax all at once, just one place at a time. Bring your attention down to your feet. Notice the toes, all 10 of them, the space between them, the soles of the feet, the heels pressing gently into the surface beneath you, the ankles, and if there is even the smallest trace of holding there, let it release now, all at once, as though something unclenches by itself. Good. Now the lower legs, calves, shins, the muscles wrapped around the bones, feel them, and with the next exhale, anything being held there softens instantly, not forced, just released, down through the calves, down through the shins, all the way, down and out. Good. Now the knees, the backs of the knees, the tops of the knees, let them become loose, unoccupied, as if the joints no longer need to do anything at all. Just wait, just stillness. Now the thighs, the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs, the inner thighs. For a moment, notice whether anything is still working there, anything bracing, anything preparing, anything holding on, and let all of that go completely, as if the muscles stop reporting for duty. Good. Now the hips, the pelvis, the seat, the lower body becoming heavier, not heavy in an uncomfortable way, heavy in the way a body becomes heavy when it knows it is safe. Let that heaviness spread. Let the weight be welcomed by the surface beneath you. You do not hold yourself up anymore. Something else is doing that now, and you can let go completely. Now the lower back, the mid-back, the upper back. Notice whether there is any quiet gripping there, any old effort, any leftover carrying. And with this next breath out, let the back release downward, as though the whole spine is being given back to gravity, vertebra by vertebra, tension dissolving from the top of the back, all the way down through the lumbar, all the way down to where the spine meets the surface. Gone. Good. Now the stomach. The abdomen softens, the organs rest, nothing pulled in, nothing managed, nothing protected. The whole center of the body loosens, and because the center loosens, the breath changes by itself. No need to control it. Just notice that the inhale arrives, and the exhale stays a little longer, a little slower, a little deeper, and with each longer exhale, the body drops another level. Now the chest, the ribs, the space around the heart. Let everything there open and settle. No pressure in the chest, no guarding, no preparation, just space, just ease. Now the shoulders, these places that so often carry the invisible weight, the weight of what isn't secured yet, the weight of what might still be lost. Let them stop carrying. Let them descend. Let them be taken by gravity, as if something unhooks, and all the strain leaves quietly. Now the arms, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, palms, fingers. Notice the hands becoming still, loose, warm, unconcerned, as though they no longer need to hold on to anything, the grip releasing completely. Good. Now the neck, the throat, the base of the skull. Let the neck soften from the inside. Let the throat open. No effort to swallow, no effort to speak, only release. Now the jaw. Notice the jaw very carefully. If there is even a trace of holding there, let it fall away now. The teeth parting slightly, the tongue resting on the floor of the mouth becoming soft, and as the jaw releases, the whole face begins to empty out. Cheeks soft, eyes resting, forehead smooth, the tiny muscles around the eyes letting go, the scalp loosening, the temples unburdened, and now the crown of the head, quiet, still, open, from the toes to the crown. The body has begun to switch off, not asleep yet, but no longer gripping, no longer counting, no longer preparing for anything, just resting. Now notice the whole body at once. Feet, legs, hips, back, stomach, chest, shoulders, arms, neck, face, head, one field, one quiet, heavy field. And if there is any final place still holding, you do not need to find it exactly. Just let the next breath reach it, and let the next exhale dissolve it completely. Good. Now the breathing becomes even easier. The inhale comes in gently. The exhale leaves more slowly, and each time it leaves, the body feels farther away, softer, heavier, less important. You are still aware of it, but only faintly, as though it has moved to the edge of your attention, and your attention has moved somewhere else entirely, somewhere quieter, somewhere without edges. With each exhale, you move a little further in, not down, not away, further in, into the part of you that has always been here, behind the day, behind the week, behind every thought you have ever had about money, behind all of it. You are moving toward the place where the counting stops, where the question of whether it is yours simply does not arise. And the closer you get, the heavier the body becomes, the more distant, the more beside the point. Let it be beside the point now. You don't need it for what comes next. Just your awareness, just this. Breathing in gently, breathing out slowly. Each exhale a small descent, each descent a little more complete. You are not trying to fall asleep. You are not trying to do anything. You are simply allowing the mind to drift the way it does naturally in those last moments before sleep takes you. That territory, that threshold where thoughts arrive without logic, where images appear without effort, where the line between what is real and what is imagined begins to soften. You know this place. You visit it every night. Tonight, you are simply more aware of it, and in that awareness, something becomes possible that is not possible in ordinary waking. The inner mind does not distinguish between what has happened and what is vividly felt. It accepts feeling as fact. It responds to the state you occupy, and the state you are occupying tonight is the state of someone for whom the question of ownership has gone permanently quiet. Stay here. Let the body drift further. Let the mind soften at its edges. Let the threshold become familiar. Now notice something. The body has gone very quiet, so quiet that you have almost stopped noticing it. It is still there, but it has moved to the background, like a sound you were once aware of that has now become part of the silence. The body is background, and awareness is foreground. Just awareness, not thinking, not planning, not managing anything. Just the simple fact of being present, without content, without urgency, without anything pressing. Notice how different this is from the waking state. In the waking state, there is always something to return to, something to check, something to confirm is still there. But here, there is no such pressure. Here, the mind is open, the body is off, and the only thing present is awareness itself, still, unhurried, complete. This is the state Neville called the state akin to sleep, the threshold where the inner man receives, where what you assume with feeling is accepted as fact, where the consciousness you occupy becomes the life you wake into, and the consciousness you are occupying now is not the miser's. The miser is behind you with his vault and his counting and his terror. His grip has released. His question, is it mine? Is it still mine? Has dissolved. What is in front of you is the opposite, the open hand, the settled mind, the consciousness that does not need to check, because ownership is not in question. Stay here for a moment, just here. Nothing else required. Now, in this softened state, notice what remains when the body has gone quiet. Awareness remains, presence remains, the sense of being remains. And because the body is so still, so settled, so unconcerned, you are free now to feel something much more subtle, not to construct it from the outside, not to reach for it, just to inhabit the atmosphere of a consciousness in which the question of ownership does not arise. The person you are inhabiting now is everything the miser was not. Not wealthier, not more fortunate, a different inner life entirely. No counting, no confirming, no pressure running quietly in the background. No unfinished arithmetic beneath the surface of the day, only the ease of someone for whom wealth is simply present, the way the walls are present, the way the morning is present, not thought about, not monitored, just there. Let that atmosphere begin to fill the space where the body was. Let that feeling become more noticeable than the room, more noticeable than the day, more noticeable than any old habit of checking. The question has gone quiet, and because it has gone quiet, the body has nothing left to brace against. That is why it feels like this. That is why everything has settled so completely. Now notice something about yourself in this. Not what you have, not the circumstances that shifted. You, the person who lives inside this consciousness. Notice how they move through a morning. They wake and the mind opens into the day, without reaching immediately for the numbers, without the rapid inventory, without the quiet background hum of financial surveillance that the miser never escapes, even in sleep. Just the morning, just the light, just whatever arrives next. Notice how ordinary that is for them. It is not relief. Relief implies something was threatening for this person. There is nothing to be relieved of. The question simply does not arise. It is Tuesday, and Tuesday is just Tuesday. Now notice how they make a decision. Something small, something they want. The hand moves toward it without the freeze, without the internal negotiation, without the half-second contraction. That was the miser's defining motion. That reach toward the gold and the pulling back. For this person, that contraction does not come, not suppressed, not overcome, simply absent, because there is nothing for it to respond to. They decide easily, without the second voice, without the question arriving half a beat behind every choice. Is this mine to spend? Can I afford to let this go? Will I regret this? None of that. Just the decision. Clean, effortless, the way Chesterton described it, without describing it as anything at all. Simply a person enjoying a thing without once thinking about whether it is theirs. Notice how they end a day. They set down what they were carrying, and there is no residue, no vault to descend to, no counting to perform before sleep is permitted. The day closes, and they let it close. This is not a dramatic life. There are no milestone moments here, just the ordinary texture of days from which the miser's terror has been permanently removed, and its absence is not something they celebrate. Not anymore, because it has been long enough now that they no longer remember what the counting felt like. This is simply how consciousness feels when ownership is settled. Normal, steady, unremarkable in the best possible way. This is the person you are assuming now, not aspiring to, not working toward, assuming from the inside, from the feeling. Right now, the inner man has received this. The feeling is the fact. The state occupied now is the state that externalizes. Let it deepen. Let it become more familiar. Let it feel less like a state you are visiting and more like who you simply are. Now just notice this, very gently, without trying to answer. What does it feel like to not need to confirm that wealth is yours? Stay with that, no words needed. Your body responds before your mind does, a releasing, a soft settling, like a hand that has been holding something for a very long time. Finally opening. And now this. What is different about you in a consciousness where the question of ownership does not arise? Not what you have, not what you see. You, what is different? You don't need to search for the answer. It is already here, in the way your body rests, in the way your breath moves, in the absence of the counting. That is the difference. Stay with that. What do you no longer need to confirm? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What no longer needs checking? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What has stopped running in the background? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What are you no longer monitoring? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What no longer needs your vigilance? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What question has gone quiet? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What would have felt urgent before, but doesn't anymore? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What no longer needs to be secured? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What is no longer at risk? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What no longer depends on the counting? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What has already been settled? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What is no longer a question? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. What has simply become true? It is already reflected in the way your body feels. This is important. This feeling is not something you are constructing. It is something you are uncovering. The miser's consciousness was the only thing standing between you and this, and it has released. And the more you remain here, the more natural it becomes. Less like a state you are practicing, more like who you have always been beneath the counting. Now, very gently, let your awareness settle into a single moment, not a story, not a sequence of events, just one moment, the moment you're already in, but from inside a different consciousness. You are in your bed. The room is dark, the day is complete, and as you lie here, there is no descent to make, no door to unlock, no numbers to rehearse before sleep is permitted. The miser descends every night. You do not. There is simply the dark and the body settling into it, and the particular quality of a mind that has nothing to count. Feel the weight of your body against the surface beneath you. The same surface, the same room, but the consciousness is different. The person lying here does not perform a nightly accounting. Their financial life is not something that requires nightly confirmation. It simply is, the way the room simply is, the way the dark simply is. And in that simplicity, there is a particular quality of stillness, not the stillness of someone who has finished counting and found the numbers acceptable, the stillness of someone to whom counting does not occur. Feel that quality. Let it have a temperature, a texture, a weight, the way the chest feels when it is not guarding anything, the way the breath moves when it has nothing to protect, the way the mind rests when the vault door is not just closed, but forgotten, not locked. forgotten, because the question of what's inside simply does not arise. This is the feeling, not the circumstances, the consciousness of someone for whom ownership is not in question. Stay in this moment. You are in your bed. The room is dark. The day is behind you, and the only thing left to do is fall asleep as this person, which is exactly what you are doing right now already. Now let the scene shift very gently. Same consciousness, different moment. It is morning. You have just woken. There are a few seconds before thought arrives fully, that soft, unformed space between sleep and the day. Notice what is not there. The inventory. You know the inventory, the almost involuntary survey that arrives with the first moment of consciousness. What is held? What is owed? What remains, whether last night's numbers still hold in the light of morning? The miser wakes into this every day. This person does not because they are avoiding it, not because they have trained themselves to think positively, because there is nothing to inventory. The consciousness that woke up this morning does not organize itself around financial surveillance. It never did. That question simply does not arise here. The morning opens. Just the morning. Light at the edges of the room. The sounds of wherever you are. The body finding its way back to the day. And somewhere in that ordinary sequence, there is a quality of openness that this person does not remark upon, because it has been the texture of every morning for as long as they can remember. Not an achievement, not a practice, just consciousness doing what it does when the miser's grip is not running it. Feel that, the morning arriving without the inventory, the mind clear in its first moments, the day opening into itself without a financial audit preceding it. Let that be completely unremarkable. Let it feel expected. Let it feel like simply what mornings are. Now one more. An ordinary moment. You are somewhere. It doesn't matter where. And there is something you want, something small. In another version of your inner life, this moment would have produced the miser's motion, the reach, the freeze, the hand moving toward the gold, and then pulling back, the half-second contraction, the internal negotiation. Is this mine to spend? Can I let this go? What if I need it later? Notice that contraction does not come. The hand does not freeze. The negotiation does not begin. The question does not arise. You simply decide, without the second voice, without the vault door swinging open in the back of the mind to check whether spending is permitted, without the slight tightening in the chest, that the miser would recognize as the constant background weather of his life. What is remarkable, what you notice just briefly before moving on, is the absence of what used to be there. Not triumph, not relief, just the clean, ordinary ease of a decision made by someone who is not thinking about whether what they have is theirs. Chesterton's man inhabiting Chesterton's state without knowing that is what he is doing, because that is precisely the point. When you are truly there, you don't think about it. You simply move, and you move on. The moment passes, and the ease passes with it into the background, where it has always lived, for people who never had the miser's problem. Permanent, unremarkable, yours. Let these 3 moments settle. The night with nothing to count. The morning with no inventory. The small decision made without the freeze. All the same consciousness. All the same inner landscape. All the miser's opposite. Systematically, completely. Let it loop gently. The dark room and the forgotten vault. The weightless morning. The hand that moves without hesitation. Again, the settled body. The open mind. The question that does not arise. Again, quieter, more familiar, more yours. Now the words begin to settle into what is already here. No effort, no repetition needed, just allowing them to land. I do not count what I have. I do not confirm it. I do not check whether it is still there. The question does not arise. I am not the miser. The vault is not my relationship with wealth. The counting is not how I know what I have. I know it the way I know the morning, without checking. I spend freely, because spending freely is what ownership feels like. The hand does not freeze. The negotiation does not begin. The question of whether I can afford to let go does not arise. I am not thinking about whether this is mine, because it is mine, and what is simply mine does not require my constant attention to remain so. My mornings are open. The inventory does not run. The surveillance has ended. There is nothing to monitor. The consciousness that woke up this morning does not organize itself around what might be lost. I do not descend at night. There is no counting before sleep is permitted. The day closes, and I let it close. Nothing to confirm, nothing to secure, nothing to rehearse. Wealth is simply present, the way the walls are present, the way the morning is present, not thought about, not monitored, just there. The miser's consciousness has released. The grip has opened. The question has gone quiet. And what remains is this. I am the one for whom ownership is settled. I am the one who moves without the freeze. I am the one who wakes without the inventory. I am the one who falls asleep with the vault door forgotten. I am not becoming this. I already am this. What remains is this. Quiet, steady, open, already mine. Just remain here. No effort, no direction, just this. The counting has stopped. Not because the numbers are right, because the counting was never the point. The vault door is closed, not locked against loss, simply no longer relevant. The room is dark, the body is heavy, the day is gone, and you are already the one who does not descend. Let the breath become quieter. Let the thoughts become fewer. Let the distance between them grow. Longer and longer pauses. Softer and softer edges. The voice becoming just one more thing. Drifting at the edge of awareness. The question has gone quiet. Permanently quiet. The night. The settled body, the clear morning waiting on the other side. No inventory to perform, no numbers to confirm, no vault to check before sleep is permitted. Just the dark, just the wait, just the ordinary quiet of someone for whom the question of ownership simply does not arise. Rest here. The body sinking further, the mind releasing the last thread, the open hand resting against the surface beneath you, unclenched, unconcerned, belonging to someone who has nothing left to hold on to. You don't have to maintain this. It maintains itself. This is consciousness, doing what consciousness does. When the miser's grip is no longer running it, the vault is forgotten. What remains is simply life, lived from inside a settled ownership that requires no confirmation, no counting, no nightly descent to make sure it's still there. Let the words go now. Let even the feeling of listening go. There is only the dark, the breath, the weight of a body with nothing left to guard, and underneath all of it, steady, unchanging, the simple fact, the question does not arise. Sleep now as the one who never needed to ask it, in that consciousness, in that quiet already, yours. words begin to settle into what is already here. No effort, no repetition needed, just allowing them to land. I do not count what I have. I do not confirm it. I do not check whether it is still there. The question does not arise. I am not the miser. The vault is not my relationship with wealth. The counting is not how I know what I have. I know it the way I know the morning, without checking. I spend freely, because spending freely is what ownership feels like. The hand does not freeze. The negotiation does not begin. The question of whether I can afford to let go does not arise. I am not thinking about whether this is mine, because it is mine, and what is simply mine does not require my constant attention to remain so. My mornings are open. The inventory does not run. The surveillance has ended. There is nothing to monitor. The consciousness that woke up this morning does not organize itself around what might be lost. I do not descend at night. There is no counting before sleep is permitted. The day closes, and I let it close. Nothing to confirm, nothing to secure, nothing to rehearse. Wealth is simply present, the way the walls are present, the way the morning is present, not thought about, not monitored, just there. The miser's consciousness has released. The grip has opened. The question has gone quiet. And what remains is this. I am the one for whom ownership is settled. I am the one who moves without the freeze. I am the one who wakes without the inventory. I am the one who falls asleep with the vault door forgotten. I am not becoming this. I already am this. What remains is this. Quiet, steady, open, already mine. words begin to settle into what is already here. No effort, no repetition needed, just allowing them to land. I do not count what I have. I do not confirm it. I do not check whether it is still there. The question does not arise. I am not the miser. The vault is not my relationship with wealth. The counting is not how I know what I have. I know it the way I know the morning, without checking. I spend freely, because spending freely is what ownership feels like. The hand does not freeze. The negotiation does not begin. The question of whether I can afford to let go does not arise. I am not thinking about whether this is mine, because it is mine. And what is simply mine does not require my constant attention to remain so. My mornings are open. The inventory does not run. The surveillance has ended. There is nothing to monitor. The consciousness that woke up this morning does not organize itself around what might be lost. I do not descend at night. There is no counting before sleep is permitted. The day closes, and I let it close. Nothing to confirm, nothing to secure, nothing to rehearse. Wealth is simply present, the way the walls are present, the way the morning is present, not thought about, not monitored, just there. The miser's consciousness has released. The grip has opened. The question has gone quiet. And what remains is this. I am the one for whom ownership is settled. I am the one who moves without the freeze. I am the one who wakes without the inventory. I am the one who falls asleep with the vault door forgotten. I am not becoming this. I already am this. What remains is this. Quiet, steady, open, already mine. words begin to settle into what is already here. No effort, no repetition needed, just allowing them to land. I do not count what I have. I do not confirm it. I do not check whether it is still there. The question does not arise. I am not the miser. The vault is not my relationship with wealth. The counting is not how I know what I have. I know it the way I know the morning, without checking. I spend freely, because spending freely is what ownership feels like. The hand does not freeze. The negotiation does not begin. The question of whether I can afford to let go does not arise. I am not thinking about whether this is mine, because it is mine, and what is simply mine does not require my constant attention to remain so. My mornings are open. The inventory does not run. The surveillance has ended. There is nothing to monitor. The consciousness that woke up this morning does not organize itself around what might be lost. I do not descend at night. There is no counting before sleep is permitted. The day closes, and I let it close. Nothing to confirm, nothing to secure, nothing to rehearse. Wealth is simply present, the way the walls are present, the way the morning is present, not thought about, not monitored, just there. The miser's consciousness has released. The grip has opened. The question has gone quiet. And what remains is this. I am the one for whom ownership is settled. I am the one who moves without the freeze. I am the one who wakes without the inventory. I am the one who falls asleep with the vault door forgotten. I am not becoming this. I already am this. What remains is this. Quiet, steady, open, already mine.